Okay, so can you listen my microphone?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So let's start. Wait, there is the representation of the Ancora, Mr. Jose here. Okay, okay, sorry. Let's start. Good morning, classmates, teacher Marlene Treviño, Mr. Jose Carvajal, and Miss Patricia Lopez. Today, my classmates, Julio Cesar, Luz Clara, Estefania, David, and I are going to explain our work in the development of this course project. Here we have the contents of this presentation, the introduction, the functional black box testing, the non-functional black box testing, the defects, and recommendations. Okay, so first of all, I must put you in a little context of the situation and problems that we cover during this project. Everything begins in time of pandemic. As we know, the pandemic came and supermarkets had to close. However, the supply lines should be kept in full operation. And then this question and problem arises of how they could make their supermarkets sell the products and how to make people could buy them. So it's when they begin to create a system so that people could make their purchases online, where they could receive their products in their homes or in a specific delivery points, and finally end up creating the system that we can all access today through the pricemart.com website. This online product purchase system is available for 13 countries, including Costa Rica, Panama, Jamaica, and Colombia. Unfortunately, this platform, due to time pressures, had to deploy the production without first running enough tests to ensure a proper software quality according to the standards that must be followed. So our job was to perform these missing tests with the best possible quality, following what we learn in class and also through our own research. So for the development of this project, not having the source code of the page for security reasons and not having a membership of the store reduced us the possibilities of possible test cases to run during this project. However, there were many possibilities, and we decided to focus properly on the category and search unit, as my classmates will explain later. And here we can see the page that allow us to select the country and to make the purchase. And then this is the main page. As you can see, there are different options, such as the search bar, categories filter, the purchase car, sorry, and selection club selection option. And this is the view that we get when we select the preferred club option. And this is the purchase card where we can change the amount of the products and pay for them. And finally, this is the category selection option to filter the products and make search.
Now I'm going to talk about functional black box testing. We decided to apply black box testing because we don't have access to the website code. And the test cases were created with pairwise combination. And for this pairwise combination, we needed to select different variables like clubs, categories, and countries. For countries, we selected a unique country, Costa Rica. And for clubs, we selected all of them. Zapote, Alajuela, Escazú, Heredia, Liberia, Llorente, Santana, Entre Rios. For these clubs were presented in different amounts. Like Zapote were used 15 times, and Alajuela were used 14 times. And different amounts for different clubs. This depends on the test cases. It's important to say of 100 cases were applied, of which 100% were successful, and the test lasted 25 minutes and 14 seconds. In the next slide, you can see categories were applied in different amount. For example, groceries and optical were applied 9 times, and health and beauty, furniture, fashion and apparel, electronics, toys and games, baby, restaurant supplies, liquor, beer and wine were applied 7 times. And last, movies, music and books, computers, tablets and accessories, seasonals, automotive, hardware and move improvement were applied 6 times. Some categories not used like home, luggage, major appliances, office, outdoor, pets, small appliances, sporting goods, and fitness. But you can see these categories in the test cases. Why do we not use these categories? Because we needed to select only 100 cases for the project. In the next slide is about the operating system that was used in the test. We were able to use different operating systems, such as Windows and Mac OS. And for example, 61 were used in Windows 10, 22 on Windows 11, and 17 on Mac OS Ventura.
Now let's talk about non-functional black box testing. In our context, we decided to work with load testings with JMeter, which falls under the category of performance testing. We focus on assessing how PriceSmart's website performs under expected or anticipated load conditions, which is the category dropdown. Now let's see this in practice for a better understanding. For the load testing, we will have some users getting into the website and then going over every single category. There is 23 in total. This will require many transactions for many users in a very reduced time interval. We configure JMeter for 3 different scenarios or three test cases. This first one with 20 users, 10 seconds for the ramp up period, which means that every 0.5 seconds, a user will start running the scenario once, and then another one will come, and then another one will come until we have 10 users in the first 10 seconds of the test running. Same situation for 30 users and 40 users. Now I want to show you these tests case performing with 3 videos. I'm going to show you 3 videos. The first one will run smoothly, the second one will show some errors, and the third one will show many more errors than the second one. This happens at the beginning of the video, then it will run smoothly. This is mainly because at the beginning there are not many users, and then it comes like a peak and then it goes down. That is why it happens in a certain interval. And these are some results only for the last test case, because this one was the worst scenario. The first one didn't have many errors. It was perfect, quote unquote. And the second one showed some, but this is the third one, we showed many more errors. We noticed that there are some labels that show like the higher average time compared to the rest of them, which means that the transaction will happen slowest in a slow pace than the other ones, but this one had a lower error rate compared to the rest of the labels. And now my classmate David will present more about the errors.
Thank you. Okay, now we are going to talk about the defects that were found. Okay, emphasizing what has been mentioned before, black box testing was performed using Cypress, and all of the test cases were successful. However, in the performance scenario using JMeter, 2 out of 3 test cases failed. This screenshot belongs to the second test case and was taken from the component called result tree. So here in the left side, and there are several red HTTP requests, which mean they, oops, camera. Okay, which mean they contain errors in their execution process. And in the right side, we have information about the sampler results section. So inside this section, we obtain a response code of 503. This code means that the service is unavailable at that moment. So, okay, here in the next slide, we have information about the aggregate report of the second test case. And we can see here in the error column, the margin of errors is between 10% and 73%. And also the total percentage of errors in the second test case is 47.8%. So this value begins to increase when there are many users connected at the same time. And to better understand the error column, we can refer to the following table. So here in the first line, we have 30 samples and we have 10% of error. So that means that 3 HTTP requests were rejected. And now, in the third test case, the number of users was increased to 40, and the margin of error also increased. So the minimum value is 42.5%. 50%. The maximum value is 95%, and the total percentage of errors is 79.38%. So now my colleague Julio Cesar is going to tell us about the conclusions and recommendations.
Thank you, David. The next one, please. Thank you. It is essential to regularly review and optimize application performance to improve user experience. During load testing, it's common to identify bugs and performance issues that impact user satisfaction. It is essential to carefully investigate the cause of this error and work closely with the development team to implement effective solutions such as code optimization and database queries to ensure the system operates well. Additionally, staying up to date with the last trends and technologies in app development can bring innovative ideas to improve user experience. As part of this feedback, we agreed with some of our partners that if we know how test automation tools work before choosing the type of test to perform, we will give a more complete estimate, which will allow us to evaluate other system components. Thank you.
The classmates have any question?
Marlene, I just want to congratulate the team for the big effort on working on pronunciation, especially Luis Clara, good pronunciation of past tense, and David, who has been practicing a lot of pronunciation with me too, and Julio Cesar, more fluent, Stefania and Andre, perfect. Congratulations for listening to my feedback and for sounding and looking very professional.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some questions. Do you think the results will be different if you have tested for other countries?
I would say that the answer is that probably, because this company could have like a different, they could expect a different amount of people coming to the website according to the country. So it could be different. However, I would dare to say that we wouldn't have like a big difference among the error rates and the average time.
Okay. Remember to use a testing technique. It's important because I probably you use other countries. Do you consider that for this website allowed test of 40 user is an acceptable value?
I would say that probably yes, because considering that there are many countries in the page and many clubs around these countries, the value of 40 people that are accessing at the same time, doing different tasks, I think that it's a very real scenario that we can simulate using this software.
Okay. My last question is, if you have the opportunity to go back in time, what mistakes would you avoid repeated?
Marlene, I really like your tough questions. You're
Yes.
making them think, and that's very important in the students, that they activate and be reflective and critical of their performance. Very good.
That's indeed a very hard question, because I don't know if we could change something or have done it differently. However, I would say that now that we know how it works, that we have the results, of course, I think we could have done something different, like give more variety for the test cases, so that we don't only use categories or that specific section. We could have changed that a little bit. We could have done that differently. But beyond that, for our team performance, it was pretty good. We worked together. We had very good communication, so that we decided how to do things. It wasn't just one person that decided. We did it all together. So I think that for a very different, for more different results, I would have done that. I would have given more different sections of the website, so that we could have showed different results. However, we focus on this one because so that we could have like a very specific or very accurate result for this specific section. So it is not a bad decision, or it's just a very specific one.
Okay, it's all. It is an excellent job for the next group.
Okay, first off, let me share my screen, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, can you see like the presentation now?
Yes.
Okay. So, good morning. My name is Mariana Natalia, and along with my classmates, we're gonna share like our results report with you. We work with Encora and the PriceMap website, sorry. So here's our agenda. First of all, we'll start with an introduction, and we'll talk about the automation process we followed, the results we had, the defects we found, and recommendation. And finally, we'll give a question space for you. As an introduction, here we have a screenshot of what the website looks like. It's important to have a little bit of context about PriceMart.com. I think the last group talked a little bit about it, but PriceMart is a store that is present on 13 different countries, including all the Central American countries, Colombia in South America, and some other countries in the Caribbean, for example. The website really started with the COVID pandemic, because the market was kind of difficult. Going out in general was very restricted due to like the politics of like the country and stuff. So they created this website for it to be easier for people to go and just shop online and pick up their orders in different spots, or just have it delivered to their homes. However, the quality assurance process was kind of, how do I say this? It was kind of rushed, so they didn't perform as many test cases as they literally should have for it to be a acceptable quality, you know. So also a clarification is that we tested for mobile devices, so the mobile version of the page. When it comes to frameworks and languages, we use Cypress and Mocha, and these are implemented in TypeScript. And we had different test cases, all black box tests created with pairwise combination. So about the automation process, when using Cypress, you have a spec files that are basically files that contain the code of your test cases. We organized it in this way. We had like the pure black box tests, and we created a file for each country and each language that we tested. I forgot to clarify that we tested all the Central American countries. I think there are about 6 of them, and Colombia in South America. And we performed tests in both of the languages available, which are English and Spanish. Also, we performed some tests that are more general to the appearance, for example, or the behavior of the website that basically involve the language aspect of it. So we checked, for example, if the language was right, like it was according to what the user had picked. So yeah, this is the organization of the spec files that we created. Then this is like an example of how the test cases were like created. We have applied before and after each test case. And as you can see, it just performs a specific task that leaves the page, for example, ready for the test cases to be performed, and it reloads the page at the end. This is important because these are processes that repeat with every test case. Also, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see like my mouse moving, but we changed the viewport to iPhone X, which is basically to emulate the like feeling that the website is in a mobile device. This is like an example of a test case in the body. As you can see, we get the different elements of the page by using the XPacts, and then click on them or type on them according to the action we need to perform in the specific test case. Then this is an example of the execution of the test case. For example, as you can see what's happening on the screen, all the code we programmed before, it's here executing. I'll give you a minute to look at it. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, this was like only one test case, and it was performed on Honduras in the Spanish version of the website, and it was successful. Okay, now my classmate Francisco is going to continue with the presentation.
Everybody, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
We designed 16 test cases for the automation process, while also 20 functional system cases. Of these, 9 were manual and the remaining 11 were automatic. As you can see on the right side of the presentation, the mentioned data sorry, is represented in graphs. In the end, the test cases were conducted with a 100% success rate. We designed these test cases by black box QI techniques, and because there was no access for the testing for the code, and making it an ideal approach. The initial setup uh, involved sorry, establishing the development environment with Cypress and Mocha. Various test cases scenarios were identified to assess the application from functional perspective, and by validation and assertions were implemented in the test cases to verify that the expected behavior of the application. We have some issues while we are testing the cases and some recommendations, but my mates will gonna talk about later about that. Thanks.
Okay, good morning. I want to explain a little bit about the defects that we found in our project. Next slide, please. The first defect that we found was that when changing the page language, for example, from Spanish to English, the close location was remain Spanish, even though everything else in the page was shown in English. Next slide, please. The second defect that we found was that sometimes while changing the country for the test cases, the order of the countries will change. We don't know if this was designed this way so that the client's preferred country is the first one, for example, or if this was something related to the automation process. Next slide, please. Recommendations before ending is that sorry. What? Okay, sorry. Recommendations before ending is that for the